All right, we're back. So I spent the last little bit of time just 100%ing all of the items in the game because I wanted to get the diary entries. I wanted to get all that stuff just so I could give you guys the last little thing, which would be to read over his diary and also to do the hidden. So let's start with the hidden secrets. Photo of my wife and daughter. A happy moment that we had in the past. Honestly, I don't like to look at it. Next. Curl of sweet red gold hair, my last memory of Carla. Not a thing that you should be keeping in the journal, but alright. Idea of a stranger, Dr. Berkowitz. I think I've heard somewhere that, like, all of these cards are supposed to be, like, names of, like, series, which, okay. A fragment of a medical report about the disease scientists at the safe point were investigating. All their attempts to search for a cure have proven to be a failure. As expected. A piece of Stella's frayed sweater. If I hadn't gotten there in time, I can't imagine what those soldiers... Yep. Because of course it's a bleak story. Of course they'd have put that in there. Edgy. Brochure about the new ways to prevent it. New illness. Always surprising us, but there had always been a cure. That was the past. Yep. Box. It reminds me of my past. Memories of a forgotten time with my wife and daughter. I wonder if he just shoved this into Stella's head, like, remember me style. The last entry written in the diary of one of the survivors who hid in the underground station. It seems that they lost hope that the army could liberate them. Green Berets, military patch off Ben's window. Way to never forget about my only friend and hope. Aw. A Green Beret living out in Canada. Rest in peace, man. J.L. Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer. A Congressional Medal of Honor from the United States of America. That crazy old man, i.e. the rat, war hero a long time ago. An air freshener. It smells nice. Reminds me of the forest, like the one I had to leave behind in Canada. Yep. A type of children's stories I found in an abandoned cassette player. It won't help me very much, but I'm sure that some of the stories will bring to mind pleasant memories of my daughter. That you had to shotgun to the face. One page from a book. There's a poem written. Me, the way into suffering city. Way to the eternal pain. Way that runs among the lost. Photo of a young armed young soldier with a rifle in the middle of a tropical jungle. Image is somewhat worn out, but the inscription read Da Nang 68. So, 8 years beforehand, this was the rat. Or Guine. Yep. Paper with a handwritten map to the safe point. Marks some Seattle streets and local. Comprehensive. A report about the protocol for military action at the refuge that was built in Seattle Stadium. It seems they kept the last provisions of the city. Something that the city had to defend with their lives. An absurd letter of the doctor who was investigating the illness in the hospital. According to his words, a disgusting necklace made with rat bones. Favorite jewel? Man, like this one. Testing me. Yep. Henry L. Lucas. Case. Photo of a sick woman. A boy. There was also a boy in it. She's lying on the bed in the hospital. Date of the photo. It seems that she died before the catastrophe. A.C. Warnos. Another piece of the pages ripped from the capitalization. That marks the limits of the rat's territory. Home written. Oh, what a marvel it appeared to me when I beheld the frog on his head. A $100 bill with a caricature of Benjamin Franklin. Money doesn't have any value anymore, but the drawing on his face is funny. Name's Badge. He was a sad old cop from Vancouver. Poor dude. Photo of the military base safety point as it was in 1960. During the Cold War, all those missiles, which are not used anymore, had cleared. Yep. A.H. DeSalvo. A.H. Fish. Page copied from an old general medicine book. Some fragments are highlighted. Direct contact with the infected body fluids like the blood, the saliva, the urine. A couple's picture. They look happy. Under a number combination, 1212. Something written on the other side. Honey, remember those holidays? Love, Lou. The folder of the Arcadian Protocol containing the escape plans of the soldier's base. Also, it contains an alternative escape plan utilizing a sailboat with supplies at Dock C. That's how we knew how to escape. A letter from one of the pilots responsible for the bombing of the city to his father. The letter speaks of hope and desperate words that never reach their destination. You can probably read that if you want, but I really don't want to. Carla L. Homolka. We have a complaint submitted to the Seattle Police Department and warned authorities that the ongoing threats of the nation on the third. Yep, the signs of the infection in Seattle. O. Elwood 2. Watch of the doctor who embraced immortality. It stopped just after midnight at 12 a.m. Watch is broke. A cutting of the West Seattle Herald, February 8th. Got an imminent move. Famous comet close to the astronomic renders to the. Man, the apocalypse went by really quick. I mean, it usually does, but like Jesus, like 5 months and 9 Circles of Hell from Dante's Divine Comedy. Classic poems. Batman's Refuge. Okay. R.C. Bundy. Yep. A blue handkerchief. There's something written on it. The new law. A star, pentagram. Cutting of the Washington Day of 1962. Crisis. Kennedy surrendered then to the communist threat. Now we are paying for his cowardice. Are they trying to imply that this like whole pandemic catastrophe apocalypse is caused by the Soviets? Idea. A rosary of wooden beads has a cross of white ivory on the end. A Christian sew it to his skin in order to not go to hell, or he could just be a good person, you know. Polaroid with an image of a boy, the teenage son of the rat. All rebels without reason at that age. A postcard with an image of the Eiffel Tower, of the Eiffel's Tower. A woman writes to her sister from France. This was a long time before about the catastrophe on the other side of the ocean. So North America was pretty much the epicenter of it, I guess. An advertising brochure from a religious sect on an island in the Pacific. An enigmatic woman in black calls, "Build your ark and visit paradise before it's too late. Come to our sacred Arcadia." I feel like that was just a trap. A little tape for a recording machine. Under a blood spot, there's a date written. April 1986. A.A. Bianchi. Another one of those damned government pamphlets. Quarantine. All the warnings in the world couldn't save them. J.W. Gacy. A registration for the plans that the rebel soldiers had in order to control the city and the survivors that reached the city. In the plans, it can be seen how the soldiers pretended to create a new order of terror. It's the origin of the new law. A clipping from the magazine Science and Medicine that talks about the cloning of human beings. One of the ethical fears that the article contemplates is the impoverishment of our genetic heritage, more than it already has. Decimate letter written by one of the apartment block residents. It says, among other things, that he decided to blow up the building boiler to kill infected neighbors. Head of the curve. Arthur L. Allen. Robert W. There it is, wrapped in bloodstained paper, the half-heart pendant of my daughter Lydia. Paper has a message in childish handwriting. Follow the path that you showed. From what I've heard, if I did nightmare mode, apparently another ending to the game where I actually might look at it. But I've heard it's a fucked up ending and like a very dark ending. So yeah. Another page ripped off from the poem book that I found in the maintenance tunnel. Poem written, the land of tears, blast of wind, and faded a vermilion light which overmasted in my every sense. A cutting of the Seattle Reporter, February 21st. Caution, the Soviet Union in orbit. Talks about this space station that the Russians space, which they might say thing is So are they saying that the United States was infected by the Soviets? With the list of names of the survivors who have reached the safe point. Like men have not been well received inside these walls. Stella's name is the last one on the list. That's all for that. We have these dumbass handhelds. Raven Thunder's rock legend. Find out what it feels like to be a true star and become a rock legend with Seattle's favorite rock band. And I don't really care that much. Time to work out. The Kenneth brothers probably present Sport Daisy, the newest, latest, and best hyper-realistic handheld electronic toy. Marvel made in Japan by Tokugawa Ltd. About the extras. Alright, so now let's go to the main thing. The diary. 1985, May 15th. I never thought that I could do something like this, resorting to diary to express myself, but come on, what have I got to lose? My name is Randall Wayne. My friends call me Randy. However, I don't know many that call me that. A few days ago, I turned 33. I live in Hope, a small town in British Columbia. We're in a valley surrounded by nature, which is located in the southwest of the great country called Canada. Here we have everything we need to be happy. Compare my town to other cities, they're garbage. If I speak about those cities that I see on TV, Hope always seems the best place in the world for a man like me. My work always keeps me happy. I'm a park warden right here in the mountains. My work requires me to spend a lot of time far from home and to be in direct contact with the trees and animals. I normally hike up the mountain by myself. Man can trust the mountain. The mountain never disappoints you. I don't need anything else. Sometimes having someone close is dangerous. Ordinary people speak too much and always disappoint you in the end, says the man who is married with kids, but this might be... I think we've established in the game itself that our protagonist wasn't particularly a mentally stable individual. May 19th. I just read what I wrote the other day. It might seem like I'm an irritable person who doesn't get along with others, but that's not true. I think I'm happy. I've turned 33. 33 years behind you, you've long and at the same time too little. I have a big family. Shannon, my wife, is a wonderful... she has always understood me, my problems, and that is the most important thing for me. Besides, she's a great cook. More than 10 years I've carried her smell with me. My clothes, my hair. Then I was stuck in a rut. I was like the driver of a train about to derail. Too fast, too shaky, too... She helped me to get back on the right track. She in the new job, you know, the job in the wood. Later, Lydia came, my daughter, the girl blessing. I think that they are the most important in my life. Well, I don't just think people don't like the truth. They said that they believe in something that later they betray. People betray you easily. I will never betray them. I lost my sense of direction today. In the forest, I was going back and forth from the cabin, but I wasn't able to find the way back. In spite of having the right way in front of me, I couldn't see. Tomorrow I have to go back. Our poachers look for trouble. I hate people that look for trouble. Always find it. Although what they might find, might not be exactly what they expected. In the afternoon, I found a deer which was on this road. Day. September 9th. Where have you been hiding, my dear diary? I have my daughter to thank for finding you again. I forgot to write. I know, and already summer has gone by, almost gone at a stroke. I like this exercise of writing, opening myself to others. Though nobody will read it, it gives me peace of mind. I feel that I exist. Also, I like to read like this and I carry my watches. Never forget the thump, eh? Low on the very heart. You remember it, the dream. Wake up at night and after, and go hot and cold all over. J. Conrad. I was the same age as my daughter when my father abandoned my mother and disappeared. I think that a childhood event really affected me. It stayed inside me just like a burn that will always leave a scar on your skin, although the wound is closed. A vivid memory of what it became. Abandon something, it's because you don't want it. I believe so. I will never be like him. I will never abandon those that I love. Between a father and a son, there are big differences. October 2nd. Today I have a headache. For bones, the cold weather has begun and the mountain is getting ready for the new season. I also had a terrible migraine in the afternoon. October 10th. What an obsession. I spent whole day with numbers in my head. 10 for here, there, an infinite number of trees that I have counted in the boxes, 1 bear. 10 words said in all day, and 30 times that I've sat down to see the horizon with binoculars. 152 steps from the cabin to the road. 33 steps to go around the cabin. I don't know how many words there are in this diary, but there are many more words that are burning inside me that I don't write. I'm afraid of closing my eyes and dreaming. I'm having this fear of everything coming back again. Into the past hits my back. Loneliness seems doesn't seem enough, and nor is enough to write on this notebook now. Sometimes I also see what happened if I'm awake. October 15th. Oh yeah, I saw this one before. This is fucked up. That's a dog hanging from a hang or something. What the fuck? Thanksgiving. Today was a day to remember. My wife made a great stew. The whole family had dinner in silence, but it was pleasant silence. It's not always necessary to fill the empty, right? Instead, Lydia was a bit sad for Nick. Says that he deserved better, and I think that we all deserve better. At least Nick's meat was tasty. Typical of kids, the way they insist on personifying the world around them, giving names to everything that kind. I had to break Nick's neck myself with my bare hands. Not that I'm a coward, but I don't like killing animals with my hands. Less so when it's got a human name. My job, sometimes I have to sacrifice animals that are sick or that danger to others. Know that all deaths are the same, even if I was a turkey with the name of a used car dealer. That doesn't look like a turkey, though. That looks like a dog. Raymond, are you sure you're okay? October 19th. They have sent a message warning the poachers. Ben Parker, an acquaintance of the town, made a phone call to the warden's office. Saw some hunters in a protected sector. Ben is a good guy. I think he's the only man in the town who I can talk to. I saw him in the mountain, and he's not one to look for trouble. He's often come to see me, and we talk about this and that. He's a man of the world and easy to get along with. On the way back, I came across a van parked at the side of the road. Girls were on the shoulder, playing like little kids, playing and laughing. I've known those idiots for some time. They're always hanging around. The younger one, a tanned and chubby girl, couldn't stop smiling. She didn't say anything special, unlike the other one. They're from Vancouver and we're looking for plants that could help to cure goodness. No, goodness knows what illness. I've warned them, the forest knows how to find its food. It's not safe for girls to go to the forest to pick flowers. Wild animals do their job, just like I do mine. When they were leaving over the engine sound, I could still hear one of the girls laugh. I hate city people. I feel like he's the one that's doing attacks in the forest. October 2nd. Lots of stuff scratched out for my reality. October 24th. I'm afraid of the night. Jesus Christ. Okay, we're starting to get in some shit. November 11th. Break after the work. Rain after the fire. The rest after the war. Life after death. Sometimes I feel as if I were sitting at the edge of a about to erupt. My nerves, the trembles in my handwriting when I write, something inside me as it always has been. Everything is inside me, but there are times that it decides to show up. My feet hang over a void of fur and ashes, and the heat starts to traverse mine. It is then when I know that I must go back home with my family. If I don't do that, it will happen. If it will happen whether or not you like it. Like, it will happen whether you like it or not. It will happen. I think he murdered them. I don't know why on earth they returned to the mountains. They warned. Last month I warned them. I told them not to come back. Hell is them, and they are the ones who go to the forest for trouble. I can't stop myself from defending it. My homeland. I am an animal that defends its territory. I'm in charge in the vermin job. Jesus Christ, you murdered two girls! My boy's a serial killer! Which makes sense why he keeps gathering all the serial killer stuff. December 5th. In spite of the migraine, I may still be able to forget everything and be only aware of the good things inside me. My maternal grandmother, who was already over 80, died. The person she had beside her was a nurse. The old woman lived alone, died alone. The girl said that before my grandmother died, she lifted her head up off the pillow and looked from one side to the other, as if she were trying to find someone, and then she lay down again and died. No doubt that a void surrounds me, but I am also sure that I haven't completely fallen into it. At times I feel that if I lift up my head, I will be able to cross to the other side. What the fuck is wrong with this dude? Number 12. Lydia has all the imagination that her mother lacks. Shannon has been worried and angry for a few days. I can tell that she is upset with me. Because you murdered 2 girls! I know well that I've spent time outside. More than I should have. But in the season, and with the chaos of the poachers and the hunting, I couldn't do more for her, nor for us. I know that, and I feel sorry. December 25th. Don't you like it, Randy? The mountain is beautiful. Merry Christmas. Happy 1926. 1986, January 7th. I had a visitor on the mountain. Ben Parker climbed up to see how things were going up there. This Parker is a smart old man. This Parker is a smart old man. American, but has lived with us for many years as one of the community. Ben was born in a neighboring country and fought against those commies in Vietnam. When he returned home, he wasn't made to feel welcome and had to look for a homeland that doesn't want you when, like a father that abandons you when you're a kid. Daddy issues coming back up again. He came here with his wife, who was ill. The air of the mountains is good. However, it didn't help much, and she passed away quite soon. Ben works as a pilot. He helps out with helicopter rescue. He offers tourists the best bird's eye view in all of Canada. According to him, I imagine that he feels down, and that's why he climbs it to the mountain to talk with me. Get along well. He hears and starts ranting about the risk. He doesn't get along with them. Both think that's another war that will make the foundations the best place for protecting under the very grass that grows. right now. Okay, so we had kind of a friendship with this Ben guy, and he died in a helicopter crash in the actual main game. Boy, January 14th. Yesterday I went back to Harry's Corner for the first time in a year. I don't like closed spaces. I was going only to have a beer with Ben and leave after that, but he left the air of Harry's Corner, realizing each one of my gestures made me very nervous. I don't like how those guys look at me. I don't like when they. I don't like laughter. I can't hear what they say, but I'm sure that they're talking about me. Ben arrived. He brought some wrinkled. Ben's concerned with the attacks in the forest. Hey, I can't do. But Ben stands his ground because the best we can do is town to go out to the mountain to chase. He's sure that if we scare off some of them, the people at the business. I told him what I think. The area nourishes well, and even off some animals, new ones. A lot of fang today, a new one, stronger one will grow back tomorrow. Nature is like that, and the men who want to control that. February 28th. I dream of two cats playing and hiding in a suitcase. They get trapped inside, never seeing the light of day again. Suffocate. I carry a heavy load with blood on my shoulder. Bags full of vermin of the forest. Dead cats in my luggage. Getting some trauma about killing the girls. February 27th. Strange feeling of unrest in the forest. I'm getting it from the hell is happening in this. Altercations with the police in Poland. It seems like something's happening in Europe, but they're not saying anything. I think they're hiding the worst part. They say that the army is launching chemical agents in town. People are mad furious. Several cops have died, but the government denies it. It's snowing again today, and the silence here is scary. Since that strange dream that I had, it seems like the world is making every day with a new revolution. Oh. Normally, I don't pay much attention to the news or television, but something serious is happening, that's for sure. Shannon is worried too. Wants us to go to the town to buy some supplies, she says. Says that she's talked with some scared. Lots of tension that's gotten in Europe. Violence, a new world war. I already said that you can't trust those commies, so that's 5 months away from current. 4 months away, actually, because the game takes place like July 3rd. March 7th. Passed since the last time I wrote. Quite what to say. Talking about an infection. People are getting ill all around the world. Die easily. They are sacrificing animals. Europe is in quarantine. Already been some confirmed. Yes. Prime Minister says that there is nothing about, but no. Why is it the Prime Minister? I forbade my wife from leaving the house. I will take care of it. March 10th. At a meeting in the head office. One of the county supervisors have come to advice, plus information. It seems like it's a rabies epidemic. The virus has mutated, he says, and like during any other epidemic, take special precaution when dealing with wild animals. In some cases, the deaths and mutilation problems in the have stemmed from them. Is attacked, he will present. Raise the alarm about any sighting on the mountain. March 12th. Wave of violence has spread beyond Europe. Say that the hospitals weren't ready for something. What are they talking about? What about an innocent rabies epidemic? No, I don't believe it. Lies go further. People on this side of the ocean say that everything is talking about more than 100 people affected, but I don't really know that word means dead or affected. Those bastard politicians lying. Today a plane crashed in the Gulf of Mexico, nearly 150. Is God considering? I'm not a religious person, but I know that any wild fox that I protect out there is stronger and fairer than the God that they pray to. I need to go back to the forest, back to the place where I am, who I am, and nothing works. March 16th. Nobody walks the streets alone. Everyone goes with somebody else. The fear like wasted that lasts forever. Broadcasted some images on TV. A man entered a bank and without saying anything attacked the workers and customers. Didn't take a cent. When he went out, the police shot him, but he kept walking toward without fear. Much blood on TV. March 23rd. Anne and my wife is very nervous, but she doesn't want Lydia to know it. We get out of it. March 25th. Lost communication with the outside world. Yesterday I switched on the TV and they were broadcasting an emergency signal together with an irritating buzz. Also, those cowards in Ottawa are hiding. The radio isn't working either. Can't hear anything. Well, I lied. The local station is working, putting music all day long. Nobody speaks. Nobody tells us anything. There's heavy silence. Yep, society is breaking down. March 26th. Dance of helicopters all morning. There again, it's the that has spent the night flying through the valley. Finally getting involved in the problem. They are emitting a message. The population aerodrome. The afternoon. Time, they say. Army will take us to a tiny town isolated from everything by mountains. What the hell are these men talking about? I don't understand anything. Hope. How ironic. The city without hope. I must do something. My family, whatever it has arrived in Canada. March 26th, 1700. I went down to the city, tried to speak, running, gathering around and stepping. There are hundreds of suitcases side of the road. Pile up their cars by the road that leads everywhere. They're trying to organize the families and making them pass through control. Terrible. I saw how they killed a man from the town right in front of me. Desperate cry of his wife and his two out. A dog barked when he walked by it. Eyes in the eyes of the animal. Detected or dogged and sent. Ah, so he was bitten. They undressed him. He had a chest injury which he tried to hide with all his gunshot to the head and his life. What should I do? Should I follow those in authority? Liars, or should I escape to the woods with my wife and daughter? I don't know what to do. I don't know what's best for us. I need to go back. I need a problem. My own way, I must find a solution to all this. Desperate. I need to air my head. It's going. March 26th to later in April 20th. So between there. Oh, so between here and there, killed Shannon and Lydia, and now he has like the mental cognitive dissonance where he actually doesn't. April 20th. I haven't written anything for quite some time. Our town was overrun. I fought with Ben and the other men, but our barricades were stopping them. When I got back to the house, Shannon and Lydia had gone, just like everyone. There had been a mass exodus from the town of Hope. Parker and I followed, and since then we haven't separated even to answer the call of nature. Walked through the forest, fleeing the catastrophe, channeling our remorse until we reached Vancouver. Thought that in a big city things would be better. That's where we'd find our people. How naive we were. Vancouver was unrecognizable. No food, no hope. Ran away, taking shelter like animals, barely sleeping. There are hundreds of these things everywhere. Shadows. That's what they've called them since it started. Shadows that live in the darkness, that once had human form, that once belonged to men. Shadows of a life that was ended. Trails tormented night after night. Shannon and Lydia every second. They're out there somewhere, frightened and on. Talk about looking for a I miss them so. It's so. Today, Parker and I discovered a group of survivors. They've been hiding since the collapsed. Have water and food around the city suburbs, and for a moment they were about to kill Ben and me. Adult males are armed. One of the men is a cop, but he is. The other seems like he's never shot a gun. Redhead, skinny, cannon fodder. The fact that he adds the cannon. The women are twins, young. They are a reflection of each other. Not related to the men, but I don't know why the men have been protecting them. Kindness of their heart, or could be. Old man says that he heard a message on the radio from a crashed police car. The message talks about a city side of the border. That's talking about Seattle. You could just say Seattle. It already talks about us as if we were a group. He says we help each other. Ben thinks that it's the best to all go together. Tomorrow we'll head to Seattle. Talk of a safe migration. Anne and Lydia, there's somewhere on that road. May 3rd. Ben and I made a strange discovery. Tonight we hid in the basement of a clinic. Safe there, said Ben. Entered before the rest of the group. Smelled bad. There were insects all over. Threads of hair. Hair and skin everywhere. And in the center of the room I could see two dead. Dogs that were also looking for fought to death for a piece of rotten meat. I wondered if they suffer the same. Didn't fight for the meat. I was wrong. In the place there was nothing that could be put in the mouth. There was nothing there except some medicine. They fought to the death but died of a drug overdose. Died to become the dog left for the youth. I don't think those were dogs. Dogs are not cognitive enough to know about those drones. May 3rd, May 6th. I found some press clippings in the house of an old woman who decided to take her own life. The woman craved a hobby at the height of the catastrophe. I think it occurred only recently because of the smell of the body. It appears that they declared a war all over the world, living humans against shadows of the dead. Governments didn't skimp in order to fight against the disease. They used armies, firearms, hundreds of doctors. Each person defended himself in their own way. At the end of April, a Soviet power station in the Soviet Union, I think it was called Chernobyl. Ha! So Chernobyl still happened. Abandoned to its fate. Actually, no, Chernobyl went worse. Atomic bombs were dropped in China, Korea, also southeast of the United States. God. Am I gone? Well, good news at least. For a few days, the world became a gigantic fireball, so there's nuclear holocaust going on as well. Got it. I don't know what they were finding in Seattle. All types, but there's all heading to the same safe haven, safe point. On the radio, they say. That's where we're headed. 8 days later, May 14th. Surviving is not child's play. Nights repeat themselves and our travels never begin. Travel slowly. And in cars. Sometimes we come across the shadows, other times we must ahead. That's all. The advice that God gives us to survive this apocalypse. Said that way. Not a very title, you knew that. But if it's true they're not alive, why do they need to? Now the nightmare doesn't end at sunset. Gone in an abandoned barn next to the survivor group from Seattle, together with Ben. Not sleeping this time. No, instead they were outside. The professor was outside for his watch. Had been attacked while he was bite on his arm. Had to clean up the area. Later, the redhead guy, the damn university professor, bled to death in front of him, not breathing. We all knew what was going to happen next. Every single one of us, I had to sacrifice him. Got it. I get that. You don't have to recognize that unless, like, dang. Unless you're trying to, sugarcoat the fact you maybe out. May 29th. I think I'm going. What was your first clue? 2 nights ago, when the group stopped to rest in a dive that had secure, I heard a noise in the back room. It wasn't a normal noise. A children noise. A little girl's voice. Nobody would believe it, but after experiencing what we have said, I am sure that it was the voice of my daughter. I went into the back room and I could see a half-light. It was there. Her eyes were like torch shining in the dark. She was like before, like a princess. Somebody switched on the light and Lydia wasn't there anymore. The nation disappeared. Carla, my daughter's voice, was dressed like her and called for me in the silence. I don't know what is going on. I can't just. Oh, maybe Carla wasn't bitten. June 7th. Lydia, Shannon. Names that I can't forget. My head is divided into thousands of fragments, little smashed crystal. Sugar, ground sugar, interrupted word. A puzzle that I can't solve anymore. No future. Days without any tomorrows. July 1st. Ah, so we're getting close. When I was younger, I could remember everything. Happened and that did not happen. Now I have to look through the pages if I want to find my memory. Far away, and everything we about it seems. Seattle is a ghost. Never find a place that's nice and peaceful. It doesn't exist for us now. Stuff like this professor. You may think that you get there, not looking something up and right. Fuck you right under your nose. July 4th. One of the girls died today. Young Carla died in an abandoned warehouse, and I no longer feel it. I don't feel a tiny bit. Death. 4 months have already gone by since the start of this blood. Our little world. Everything that we knew. 4 months that changed. About my wife and daughter. Hard to keep on going. Harder still to keep alive. My best to find them in the only place they could be. Today, even the young people die. It puzzles me that some keep living. Survivors of a fading world. Well, sometimes I doubt and wonder, alive or are we all? Days have passed since we entered Seattle looking for light today. Special day for Americans. Independence Day. Birthday of the nation. How stupid to think about birthday. And that's it. So our protagonist is not the most mentally stable person. I'm starting to think he might have killed more people than I thought. Yeah. So I think that was it. I hope you enjoyed Deadlight. Thank you for the bonus episode. And we'll see what game I play next.